Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha Behaalotecha. The question of the week is, how can we stay focused on what's important? So in this week's Torah portion, right in the beginning of the 6th Aliyah, which is the 35th and the 36th verse in chapter 10, the Torah says, Vayihi ben Saya Arei. The famous two lines we say when we take out the Torah from the Ark, that when the Ark traveled. But if you give a look before verse 35 and after verse 36, which happens to be the first two verses in the 6th Aliyah, there's an upside down nun. The letter nun is upside down. The question is, why is that? Many different commentaries give different answers why. Several commentaries say the reason is because these two verses is its own book of the Torah. So based on that, we have the book of Bereshis, Shmois, Vayikra, Midbar, which is 4 books. You have Vayihi ben Saya, which becomes the 5th. After Vayihi ben Saya, you have the 6th, and Deuteronomy becomes the 7th. So because this week's Torah portion, Vayihi ben Saya, has within it its own book, we go from 5 books of Moses to actually 7 books of Moses. So to be more specific, this week's Torah portion, Parsha Behaalotecha, has a part of the 4th of the 5 books of Moses, the 5th one, and then the beginning of the 6th of the 5 books of Moses. But the Rebbe asks a very simple question. We all know all the books of Moses. The first one, God created the world. The second one, when it counts the names of the Jewish people. Leviticus, when they start bringing the sacrifice. Bamidbar, Numbers, counting the Jewish people. Vayihi ben Saya, taking out the ark, is all talking about positive stuff. What happens right after when you start technically the 6th book? It says, the Jewish people are complainers. This is the way you start a book about complainers. And then if you give a look in the last book, in the 7th, Deuteronomy talks about Moshe Rabbeinu rebuking the Jewish people. So why is it that the last 2 books of these 7 are, so to speak, really negative about the Jewish people, them complaining and giving them rebuke? So the Rebbe explains that we find the idea of 5 books and we find 7 books. Kabbalistically, everything is rooted back into the Sfirot. So in the Sfirot, we know there's a total of 10, but the emotional Sfirot, because we're emotional human beings, starts from Chesed. Now, Chesed, Gevurei Tiferes, Netzach Hoid, Yisoid Malchus, is actually 7 Sfirot. There's 5, Chesed, Gevurei Tiferes, Netzach Hoid, and then there's Yisoid and Malchus. Now, Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, and Hoid resemble the Sfirot, our emotions of who we are. We're kind, we're more disciplined, we're more compassionate, we more want to be succeed, we're more grateful. That's really about us. The last 2, the 6th and the 7th Sfirot, is Yisoid and Malchus. Yisoid is where we connect to other people, and Malchus where we lead, where we relate to other people. So you find unique, the first 5 is our own spiritual emotions, and the other 2 is us, but the way we relate to other people. So the Rebbe says the same idea as with the 5 books of Moses and the last 2, the 7. The first 5, Bereshis, Shmois, Vayikra, Bamidbar, and Vayihi ben Saya, refers to godly books, the way it speaks to us on a spiritual, godly, very high level. The last 2, which is basically starting from these after Vayihi ben Saya, which is in this book Behaalotecha, where it starts about the Jewish people complaining, and then you have the story with Miriam, and then you have the story with the spies. And then you have the last book where they're being rebuked, deals the way the Jewish people are dealing with the world. Just like the Sfirot, where the first 5 is about our own self, and the last 2 that we relate to the world. The same thing also, the first 5 books is all more on a godly, spiritual level where we connect with God in an intimate way. And the last 2 is where we go into the physical world. And that's why you see, when we start going into the world, we deal with the world stuff. We deal with complainers, we deal with the spies, we deal with Korach, and then we have to deal with rebuking, and so on and so forth. So, based on this, the Rebbe says, how do we have the strength to go into the world and deal with all these challenges? So here comes the answer. This week's Torah portion is called Behaalotecha. What does it say in the beginning of the Torah portion of Behaalotecha? So Rashi says, what's the idea of Behaalotecha? They were brought to Aaron, they brought the Neros, the candles, to light the menorah. So we know spiritually what is a candle. So we know it says the famous verse, Ki ner mitzvah v'Torah oir. A candle is a reference to mitzvot. and Torah resembles light. Our avodah is to fill our life with mitzvot and to learn Torah. That's who we really are. God put us here into this world, and He gave us the opportunity to connect to Him through doing mitzvot and learning Torah. So we can do it passively, or just to check it off the list. Or the Torah says, no, Behaalotecha. What does Behaalotecha mean? And Rashi says, An shetehei shalheves oila me'eleha. The way you should learn Torah and the way you should do mitzvot is you have to be a fire. You have to be excited, passionate about your mitzvot. You have to be excited about your learning Torah. Oila, you have to continually grow in it. Whatever you learned yesterday, that was good for yesterday. Today you have to learn more, and tomorrow you have to learn more. The mitzvot you did yesterday, that was for yesterday. You have to learn more, do more mitzvot. You have to constantly grow. And me'eleha means it has to come from you. It shouldn't be you doing someone else's mitzvot, God's Torah, but the Torah and the mitzvot have to become who you are. And that's the three powerful insights what the Torah is teaching us. Behaalotecha. We should be excited about Torah. We should grow with Torah, and it should be real. It should become our Torah. Like, for example, the book of Vayehi ben Saya is that God's giving us a Torah, so we should be able to travel. We should be able to grow with it. And when we travel, when we grow, then we will have the strength that when we have to deal with the world, with complainers, with the koirach, with the spies, with all the issues, we will have the strength to deal with it, even with the rebuke. So the answer to the question, how can we stay focused? What's important? Behaalotecha, to remember, to learn Torah, and to do the mitzvahs in a way that we're excited about it, we're growing with it, and it becomes real, and it becomes who we really are. If we have that, we'll be able to be focused and do what's really important. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated to the memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib, Shlomo ben Yosef, and Rachel bas Lipa. May their souls be elevated by the Torah we're studying in their memory. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. For more information, please see our website, Chabad, swf.org. Have a great week. Shavua Tov.